Love BookTube. Welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth, and this is just going to be my wrap-up of the first 10 days of April, including what I read for TBR Takedown 3.5, and then looking ahead to the Genrethon this week. I will show you what I plan to read in the next few days for that readathon as well. When I did my April TBR, I mentioned the book I had already finished, which was The Mystery of Biltmore House, and I talked about it on that video. And I also finished in my car a few days ago, The Undomesticated Goddess by Sophie Kinsella. This is an abridged audio on cassette that I got free from our friends at the library, and I really enjoyed it. Now, you know I don't like bad language, and there was some of that in here, but I overlooked that because the story was just so cute, and it was really fun. When the main character, Samantha Sweeting, makes a huge mistake and goes and then kind of panics and runs away, she finds herself in a situation where she has agreed to be a housekeeper for a family that have a kind of a big manor out in the country, and there is some romance, but the funniest parts are when she's trying to learn how to cook and to do laundry, and she has no idea how to do it, and it's just really funny. What I really felt was lacking in this book, though, is the rest of the story. I wish there was a sequel to this book, because I totally thought I saw where it was going with the family. It had some business ideas that they had not ever really carried out, and I thought, oh wow, she's going to tell them eventually that she's really a lawyer, and then she's going to be their personal lawyer, and then they're going to go on and, you know, do great things, and you know, she won't go back to her old job even if they ask her, because she's going to move forward and be this family's lawyer and then just have a great life from there. Well, that's not really how it happened. Now, I don't want to tell you what happened, but I was kind of disappointed because I thought, oh wow, that would really be another good book. So if anyone knows how to get a hold of Sophie Kinsella, if I can pitch her my idea for a sequel to this book, let me know. I have not read any other Sophie Kinsella books, and this is a standalone as of right now, and it is a few years old, so it doesn't look like there's any plan for this to continue as a series, but it was very cute and I enjoyed it a lot. Before TBR Takedown started, I was reading No Time for Goodbye by Linwood Barclay, and I still had about 100 pages left to read, and I'm telling you what, I had to know what happened. I couldn't just put this down and tackle my TBR for TBR Takedown. I had to read the rest of this book. So, as a result, I didn't get my series book read that I did plan to read for TBR Takedown, but this is the first in a duology, so really, I guess I could count it for TBR Takedown, and you know, we'll just say I did. This book, the premise was just really intriguing. It is about a 14-year-old girl who wakes up one morning and her family has disappeared without a trace. And I just had to know what happened. I was very satisfied with the conclusion. I thought it made total sense. I really did like the direction that the story went. I thought it was very good, and I do plan to read the sequel. The problem I did have with it, though, is the language. Now, okay, you guys know that I don't like foul language. Well, apparently, I wasn't the only one, though, that noticed the excessive use of the F word in this book. I went on Goodreads, and I read some of the reviews. I even looked at a Q&A that had been done previously where someone had written to the author, why did you think it was necessary for you to use foul language so much in this book? And he said, well, I really felt like that's how people under that kind of stress would talk. I wrote that a long time ago, and I think you'll notice that in some of my more recent novels there is not as much foul language. Now that's paraphrased, but he said something to that effect. So that's good to know. At least the people spoke and he answered, so I was glad for that. But the problem I had with it was that every single character except the 8-year-old just spewed the F word conversationally, and I didn't think that was very realistic. And I said that on my other video, so I don't need to go into details. But if you are intrigued by this premise, I think you will be satisfied with the result of this book. I could not have in a million years figured out how this all happened, but it was very well told. Other than the language, I enjoyed seeing it unfold and reading about it, and I would recommend this book if you don't mind and can overlook the excessive use of the F word. So, but the premise I thought was very good. So then I did read two of the books on my TBR Takedown TBR. I read Winnie the Pooh by A.A. Milne. This is the first in the Winnie the Pooh series. Now, most of these stories I recognized from watching Winnie the Pooh specials and Winnie the Pooh videos. There were a couple of stories, one in particular that I was not familiar with. I'm not sure if it's ever been made into a film, but I really, really enjoyed it. It was, you know, I expected to love it, and I did. And the format of it, it's kind of interesting because it's like it's being told of, it's almost like it's autobiographical, and I think maybe it is that A.A. Milne wrote these stories because he had told them to his son, and so it's written just like that, like as if he's telling the story to his son, and his son is, who is Christopher Robin, is asking him questions and adding to the story, kind of like the dialogue you would really expect from a father and son who are making up a story as they go along. And it was just wonderful and amazing. I especially loved the Eeyore birthday chapter. Just adorable. Eeyore is just amazing. He's my favorite Pooh character. He's my favorite Disney character, and he's just awesome. So I loved this book. I don't know why it's taken me 51 years to read it, and I just really, really loved it. This is another great story. I read The Storied Life of A.J. Vickery by Gabrielle Zevin, and I really did enjoy the story. Just beautifully told, wonderful. I didn't really know what to expect. I just knew that everybody liked it and that it was a good story, and they were right. It was very good. All I knew about it really was that it had something to do with books and a crotchety man, and that everybody liked it. So I really did enjoy it. It was great. Now, I feel obligated now that I always mention language that I should go ahead and mention it in case there are any of you who follow my channel, because you know that I will give you language warnings if you don't like bad language. This did have some sexual content and a little bit of bad language. Not excessive, not like in the Linwood Barclay book, but it was there. In fact, there were like 3 places I can think of where the F word was used that it kind of ruined that moment for me, because I don't like bad language, and it kind of spoiled it for me a little bit because it's not what I would have said. But, you know, I'm not everybody, obviously, and these people would have said it probably. And so, you know, for that reason, it makes it more realistic, I suppose. But just, you know, because I'm a parent and I like to give language warnings, then there is a little bit of bad language. And the other thing I don't like, and whether it actually happens in real life or not, which I'm sure it does, I didn't really like the whole, you know, sleeping with somebody on the first date kind of thing. And that happened a few times in here. You know, that's just something that is a lifestyle choice that I don't agree with. But again, realistic for this setting and for these characters. So that aside, the story I thought was beautiful. It was wonderful. It was heart-wrenching. It was emotional. Very unique premise and just a great storyline. So definitely do recommend this book, and I thought it was great. I just barely started Muslin Mystery by Vera Dodge. This is the 3rd in the Patchwork Mystery series published by Guidepost. And this was going to be my series book. But as I said before, the Linwood Barclay book, No Time for Goodbye, is the 1st in a duology. So I can count that. I'm still going to read this, though. Definitely this one and the 4th one in the series this month. So I have started this, and I probably will go ahead and continue this week for Genrethon. This is a Christian mystery, so it's kind of 2 genres in one. And I'm in about the 3rd chapter so far, and I will continue this. Then I have also picked back up the Masterpieces of Mystery by Edgar Allan Poe. This book is not much to look at, but I've had this checked out since March Mystery Madness. I've got to take it back to the library tomorrow. So far I have read 2 short stories. I read The Murders at Rue Morgue, and I also read The Telltale Heart. I read The Telltale Heart after reading A.J. Vickery, because there is actually a chapter in here called A Telltale Heart. So I went and read it. Then I went back and reread this chapter just to kind of see how it relates. And I could see why the chapter was called A Telltale Heart, because I could kind of see the parallels. So that was really neat. I felt very literary for having made these comparisons and actually understanding it. Now I am about 8 pages in to The Mystery of Marie Roget. Not sure how to say it. I don't know if it's Roget or Rogette. And so I'm about 8 pages in, not particularly enjoying it, but I feel committed to reading it because I really had wanted to read all 3 of the Edgar Allan Poe short stories that Troy Towell had recommended for March Mystery Madness. And I have met the challenge a little late by at least reading one of them, but I want to at least read this next one because it is actually a sequel to The Murders at Rue Morgue, but it's about 50 pages. And so I'm going to read a little more today. I'm going to try to get to at least the halfway point today and then read the other half tomorrow so that I can get the book turned in by the time it's due. But I will try to remember to mention it in my next wrap-up so that you can hear my thoughts on it. A few other books that I am currently reading. I am listening to Agent 6 by Tom Rob Smith on audio. This is the 3rd in the Child 44 trilogy. So this is Russian historical fiction, and I will finish this week for Genrethon. And so that is another genre. I've already started it, but I don't really know how far I am into it. I don't even think I'm halfway. So this is definitely something I'm going to finish this week. I am listening to some chick lit, also for Genrethon. I just started this. This is called The Last Girls by Lee Smith. And I've listened to, I'm only on the first tape so far. It's about 12 and a half hours on 8 cassettes. And I'm only in the first tape so far. And so far nothing earth-shattering has happened. But I think it'll be entertaining. My favorite thing about this book so far is the narrator. She has a beautiful Southern accent. And I don't know if that's her real accent or if she is just doing that because she's a good actress, but it's beautiful. And this is Wool by Hugh Howey. This is a sci-fi dystopian, and I am about half into this. It's kind of a slow burn, but it's very intriguing and very interesting, and I've hardly heard anyone on BookTube talk about it. So far, I am really enjoying it. Then I will be reading some of a nonfiction book this week, Dave Ramsey's Complete Guide to Money. This is for the at-home study course we are doing for Financial Peace University. I mentioned this in my TBR. We are actually already debt-free, my husband and I, and our house is paid off and everything. But we've never actually been through Financial Peace University. So we ordered the home study course, and this is the book that came with it. And we're supposed to read a chapter a week, and I'm about 4 weeks behind. So I've got to read 4 chapters and then continue on with the chapter that we are supposed to read for next week. And so I will be definitely reading some of this week. And then a YA fantasy, I will be reading The Glass Sword by Victoria Aveyard. This is the sequel to The Red Queen, and I love The Red Queen. I thought it was great, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes next. This is checked out from the library, so I definitely will get to this one because it will need to go back pretty soon. Since it's a new book, I'm sure that there are already people waiting in line behind me. Now that I think about it, I will probably put Muslin Mystery on hold and go ahead and read The Glass Sword because I know I'm going to need to get this back to the library probably by the end of the week. So I guess that's it for this video. I guess you could say I met all the challenges for TBR Takedown 3.5, and I will at least read 3 different genres for Genrethon. I think I'm going to continue doing at least 2 to 3 wrap-ups per month. I really liked that during March Mystery Madness I broke it up by the week, although I did break it up into 5 sections, and that was a bit excessive. So I think, if I divide the month into 10 or 11 days each, then that's probably a good way to split it. And, I may not be able to continue that every month. I may just do like a mid-month wrap-up. But so far, I do like this because it allows me to wrap up library books and get them on back to the library quicker, and talk about things while they're fresh on my mind. So I will probably try to continue this. Meanwhile, I still have some book hauls that are filmed and not edited, so I hope to get another one of those done pretty soon too. But for now, that's what I'm reading. So let me know what you're reading. I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.